In this video, we are going to walk through the time spent portions of the class progress report and compare that to what your students see. So once you've accessed your progress report and you've set your time frame, part of the progress report shows you time spent on collections, assessments, and then the total time. So the first thing is that these two times put together should equal the total time. So let's take a closer look now at time spent on collections versus time spent on assessments. I'm going to switch over to a student account so we can take a look at it from that angle. So on the student account, we can see that every lesson is structured the same way. So each bar is a lesson. Every lesson has a collection and an assessment. The collection is typically a set of resources like videos or interactive sites, and also some practice questions that are not included in Mastery. So we can see here this collection is 2 resources and 2 practice questions. The collections are always offered to the student first, so they have a chance to review the material, but the work they do here is just measured in terms of time spent. Their score on these practice questions does not affect their mastery level. Once the student works through the resources in the collection, watches the videos, interacts with the simulations, etc., they then move on to the assessment, which we abbreviate as a CFU, or a check for understanding. These are typically 5 to 6 questions, and this is what's used to determine whether the student has mastered a concept or not. So the time the student spends on this particular check for understanding or this assessment will be added to that time spent on assessments column. So if we go back over to the teacher's side, we have the collections and assessments. So again, collections are those resources that students are asked to interact with before taking a mastery assessment. The collections can include videos, simulations, interactive sites, and also a couple of practice questions that are not included in their Skyline or their Mastery. The time spent on assessments comes from the time your kids spend working, whether or not they master an assessment, on those checks for understanding. They're typically 5 to 6 questions, and it's this material that affects the student's Skyline.